try and win them all, really. That's what it's all about, and that's what I'm being paid for.
Programme in our special series on the Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally 1985. It's a co-production between Ulster Television and RTE to bring you complete coverage of what is undoubtedly Ireland's most important motoring event. It's an event of considerable pedigree too. It's brought the very best drivers in the world to this particular corner of it to compete for this circuit prize. Now this year's event will begin in the morning and head off from Belfast in the direction of Waterford. They'll turn there and head back to arrive at the City Hall on Easter Tuesday after 5 gruelling days on the road. Who will win the prize? All will be revealed over this coming weekend. Now,
Coleman, a triple circuit winner, coming back for another go, but in a new car. Is it very different to the Opel last year?
Oh, it's completely different. The engine is at the rear. It's totally different experience. And this is my first rally in the car. In fact, even though I have a tryout and as course car and down in Cork a couple of weeks ago, but I feel I have a long way to go before I get to know the car, but not to sound too pessimistic.
But at 10 o'clock exactly, the talking was over. It was time for action. And car number 1, the massive Audi Quattro of Michelle Mouton and Fabrizia Pons, was on the starting ramp, waiting for that first countdown and the starting flag from Belfast Lord Mayor Councillor Alfie Ferguson. Behind Michelle came another continental driver, Super Swede Per Eklund, bidding to become only the second Scandinavian to win the circuit. But his new Toyota Supra may not have the power to challenge the rest of the top 10. Last year's winner, Billy Coleman, starts at number 3. He has a wealth of circuit experience, but will have to feel his way during the early stages as he gets to grips with his new Porsche.
Michelle Mouton, the First Lady of Rally, opens the circuit account on Hamilton's Folly, the first of 52 stages of the Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally. For the French lady, it's not a particularly good start, as the banging 500 brake horsepower short Quattro is to shortly grind to a halt, rather deflating their early hopes.
And setting that early pace, 3 times winner Jimmy McRae, and he manages to make it look easy. But Opel teammate Russell Brookes is catching him fast, those early communication problems forgotten. Bertie Fisher is giving it everything, while Pat White from Navan has given it a little too much and has to modify his Nissan. Stage 4 at Torella, and Michelle Mouton is really pushing the Quattro over the bumps and yumps. Per Eklund's Toyota is performing well on its first major outing.
Billy, lying in about 5th place, is that according to plan at the moment?
Yeah, I think so, Alan, yes. The car is now getting better every stage, and the only thing is the weather was supposed to be wet, and with rain towers on all morning, it's getting sunnier all the time, so it's a bit annoying.
Bernard Beguin, for somebody who's never been to Ireland before,
yeah.
3rd place overall at this stage of the rally is not bad going.
It's not bad going, but you know the rally is very long, and well, I'm afraid around Waterfront I'm going to lose a lot of time because we couldn't make space notes there, and you know it will be very hard. But anyway, I'm okay. I'm quite happy now.
So you're trying.
Michelle, any problems this morning? You seem to be going very well.
You know, I start now to get in rally. It's going very fast, and Okay, we just have a small problem with the brake. The pedal was not hard enough, and I have to pump all the time. But I think they find the problem now, and it must be much better.
David Sutton tells me he's asking you to slow down a little bit. He thinks you're driving too fast.
No, I don't think so. We are driving very safely, and I try, you know, to get in and to feel really the car. And it's not so easy to go on the limit on such a fantastic car immediately. And I think now I feel much better.
At the start of stage 7, Michelle Mouton has powered the Quattro into 3rd place, ahead of Beguin. But heartbreak was just around the corner for the popular #1 seed. Hydraulic failure was to hit the clutch, and her first Circuit of Ireland would soon be over. But no such problems for last year's winner, Billy Coleman. He's a comfortable 6th and gaining all the time with the help of co-driver Ronan Morgan.
First and square right. 1/2. Square left opens 40. Slow right over crest 80. Sign. Turn square left gravel. And crest flat 300. Left and square left 40. Slow right 200. K right 40, long square left 1/2. Crest square right.
As Per Eklund comes down the hill in his Toyota Supra, lying 2nd in Group A, we learn surprisingly that Billy Coleman was only 4th fastest on that hill, the honour going to Jimmy McRae, who was a full 2 seconds faster than Russell Brookes. Pouring on the coals as he had been all day, Bernard Beguin, 3rd quickest on this stage. The leader in the important Group A category is Tony Pond in the Works Rover, followed by the spectacular as ever Finn Pentti-Ricola, who certainly had local fans.
Here's a regular for you.
Llewellin is now the only remaining Quattro driver. And then come the circuit regulars. Ernest Kidney, 10th overall in a very distinguished list. And John Price, who can always be counted on a good placing. Good Friday has not been good for others. Richie Healy failed to start in his Group B escort. Winston Henry retired when the engine blew. And Mark Lovell in the Works Ford retired with a broken gearbox. But for Austin McHale in the Shell Oils Opel Manta 400, it's been a good day and he's well inside the top 10. So after the first day, Brookes leads by 32 seconds from McRae. Beguin is a further 28 seconds down. Fisher is 4th and last year's winner Billy Coleman 5th. Kenny McKinstry, Austin McHale and Ernest Kidney complete the top 10.
Coleman sitting in 4th position, fairly happy at the end of day 1?
We're fairly happy, Gary. We're a little bit further back than we would have liked. Maybe we're about 2.5 minutes behind the leader. We've had a few problems all day, nothing too serious. Mainly the problem we had was the handbrake jammed on one of the stages. It probably cost us 20 seconds or something. But in general, yeah, I'm quite pleased.
You've been trying. And so too Sally Gap in the heart of the Irish countryside. The pace is really hotting up now. Russell Brookes still leads, but Jimmy McRae is pressing hard. Bertie Fisher is still there. And the Frenchman, Bernard Beguin, well, he's trying to come back after a disastrous start to the day. So it was still Opel 1, 2 and 3 as the rally took to the hills. But Russell Brookes was the man they all had to catch. Like Brookes, Jimmy McRae has a hat-trick of circuit wins behind him, and he was aiming for a 4th. Terry Kaby's Nissan had been tipped to do well in the circuit, and the Englishman was proving the pundits were right. Bernard Beguin put his early tyre and fan belt problems behind him. He dropped from 3rd to 10th at one point, but was starting to climb back. The battle for Group A honours continued through the Wicklow Mountains. The Tony Pons Rover was over 3 minutes ahead of nearest challenger Per Eklund.
Jimmy McRae still chasing the rally leader Brookes through the townland of Okavana itself. Bertie Fisher from Ballina-Mallard in the third Opel Manta is holding third place. Billy Coleman is still to settle with the Rothmans Porsche. Now that electrical problem is getting worse and the next service at Winnipeg is over 40 miles away. Both Billy and his co-driver Ronan Morgan have by no means given up hope. They feel it will surely come very right for them, if not on this stage, then the next.
Square left 50, mid right 400. K right 400. Press flat 1/2, long fast right 60. Preston K left 50. Slow right 500 kinks. Fast left 300.
Terry Kaby has the Nissan 240 RS well placed at fourth. Tony Pons Rover Vitesse is now sixth overall and the clear leader of Group A. Austin McHale from Rathcoole in County Dublin was ninth overnight. He's now charging. At the Winnipeg service stop, there were no rail changes, though the Rothmans Porsche team had to deal with that Coleman misfire. The co-driver Ronan Morgan and Coleman himself explained the situation.
The situation is that we're lying about fifth. We had a few problems this morning and this afternoon. The engine's cutting out. It just completely dies sometimes. It happened to us twice in a road section, and it affected us on Sally Gap and Ogavana. So we really don't know what the problem is. The lads are trying to sort it out now, but they don't have much time. They've only got 17 minutes here in this service area, so hopefully we'll get it sorted.
Well, the engine just cut out completely on a couple of occasions. We've no idea what it is, and at one point I thought she was gone actually, but suddenly just started up again. So they're just changing all the electrical parts here now, and but hopefully we'll eliminate it. You've lost a lot of time? We've lost a lot of time this morning, yeah.
And as spectacular as ever. John Price, whilst dragging on the side of his Renault 5 Turbo, not in the top 10, but still prepared to fling the car around. Then on to Slieve-na-Mon, stage 19, a great stage, high in the mountains. Brookes, rally leader, still in front, closely followed by McRae. Bertie Fisher right on song, so he should be. His co-driver won the rally in 1974, Austin Fraser. Billy Coleman really hasn't been his day. The quiet man, Terry Kaby from Hertfordshire, still virtually trouble-free, just the one puncture. Tony Pond, the Rover. And Austin McHale has been battling against food poisoning. He seems to be winning and improving his performance too. And more high-class driving from McKinstry.
The Porsche was vibrating badly.
I presume we're just losing the rubber, are we? We're just losing the tire there, are we?
And as Pond roared past them, Coleman and Morgan realised they had to stop and change the wheel. Ah, well, tomorrow's another day.
Okay. Well, I think tomorrow we'll have to go a bit harder and see if we can make up some time. The roads should suit the Porsche a bit better, I think, tomorrow. And hopefully we get some of the sunshine. This is about the first we've seen for 2 days.
And the Rothmans Circuit of Ireland Rally is about to get underway on the quayside in Waterford. You're very welcome to our Easter Monday circuit report. The weather today, a bit of drizzle, but nothing like the torrential rain we had yesterday. We're very thankful for that, and I should think the crews will be thankful too for the reasonable night's sleep they've had before today's lunchtime start. Now at the top, the gap really couldn't be any closer. Just 10 seconds separating the two Opel Mantas of Russell Brookes and Jimmy McRae. In third place is Bertie Fisher in that other Manta, and behind him Bernard Beguin in the Rothmans Porsche, who's putting a considerable degree of pressure on Fisher. Now also in the top 10 are Austin McHale and Kenny McKinstry and Billy Coleman too. That means 4 Irishmen battling for the top honours. But the experts are saying that it's really down to just those 2 cars, Russell Brookes and Jimmy McRae's Opel Mantas.
Russell, everything so far seems to have gone absolutely according to plan, yet we hear this morning that you've had some slight problems in the clothing department.
Yes, mechanics forgot to pack the suitcase from Belfast, so I'm wearing a selection of other people's clothing. I've got team manager's clothing, George Thomas's shoes and Crawford Harkness's socks.
You've set 15 fastest times in the stages to, I think, Russell's 11, and yet you still find yourself behind.
Yes, obviously when Russell was taking time out, he was taking a bit more than I was taking out of him.
The car's gone very well indeed, and we've really not had to extend ourselves too much. Very pleased with the way it's gone.
10-second gap between you and Russell Brookes after 300 miles of stages. It just couldn't be any closer, really.
No, I think it couldn't really, because although Russell's 10 seconds in front, we've had more fastest times, and it's very, very close, and it's been like that, you know, it's been like that for the last 2 years, really.
You're both in identical cars, you've both won the circuit 3 times before, and now we hear that there may be team orders involved.
Well, we've been told to call it a little bit. Obviously it would be silly with Opels 1, 2, 3 in the event to keep pressing on. Perhaps one of us have an accident or a mechanical failure.
Basically that's what they've said, you know. The Vauxhall Opel are obviously very happy with a 1, 2, 3, and they want us to be 1, 2, 3 at the finish and cool it, you know. It's there's no use of us both throwing the cars off the road and losing 2 cars.
But it must be very hard to do when you're in second place and just 10 seconds behind.
Very hard. We'll find out when we leave here this morning.
How long is this truce going to last?
I don't know.
Does this mean you're going to win the rally if you're under team orders and you're leading at the moment?
I don't know.
But Bernard Beguin has got nearer to the top Irishman. A timing fault has been corrected in his favour, and he's now within 4 minutes. Austin McHale in the Shell Oil's Dealer Opel Team Manta 400 is less than 2 minutes behind the Frenchman. And Tony Pond's Rover enters Ballyneal in spectacular style. Billy Coleman lies 7th. Eklund 8th and 2nd in Group A. And Llewellin is climbing back up the field yet again. He's in 9th place.
His aggression getting the best of him on this occasion. If Llewellin was flaming in the Quattro, it was nothing to Brookes at the Moonabug service halt. Russell, I believe Jimmy has overtaken you 2 seconds ahead now, I'm told.
Oh, no, quite a lot more than that, I'm sure.
More than that now.
Yeah.
What's been going wrong for you?
We've been told to take it easy and preserve the car, and we're driving to team instructions.
Right. And does that mean that Jimmy hasn't been told to take it easy?
I don't know.
Well, what's going to happen now? I mean, what happens to team instructions now? Do you go for the lead?
Well, I have no alternative but to follow team instructions.
You don't sound very happy.
I'd rather win the rally, but championship points are very important.
Well, Jimmy, you've taken over the lead. You've obviously had a good run this morning.
Yes, we've had no problems. The stage has been very slippy, but we've sort of managed to get in front of Russell, and we hope we can keep it there. We'll see how it goes towards the end. Russell says he's been taking it a little bit easy under team orders. What about you? Well, we've been both backed off a bit. You know, we were told to cool it. That was the one. Well, this is Boucher Road in Belfast, normally a very busy industrial estate. Today it's just as busy because it's another service halt for the rally cars. Now, we know the overnight possession was Opels 1, 2 and 3, and obviously that makes one man very happy. He's Melvin Hodgson, the Vauxhall Opel team manager. Melvin, what exactly is the position at the top now?
Jimmy McRae's in the lead by, I think, 1 minute 20 seconds from Russell Brookes. Then there's Bertie Fisher in 3rd position, being chased a little bit by Beguin at the moment in the Porsche.
Any problems with any of the Opels?
No serious problems. We did an axle change when we first came into this particular service point with Bertie Fisher's car. Other than that, no problems at all.
Now, what about this position of team orders? We heard a lot about it yesterday. Russell didn't seem to be too happy. Jimmy's a minute ahead. What's the situation?
Well, basically, when we were in Waterford, halfway through the Sunday run, the team orders were basically to both drivers to ease off, just to cool it. There's no point in Jimmy and Russell battling it out and one of them going off. And you know, it is a team, and we want to get the cars to the finish and hope we have a 1st, 2nd and 3rd.
Was there an instruction to let the number 1 driver win the rally?
No, we haven't got a number 1 driver. They're equal drivers.
No number 1 driver? We're now at stage 47 with 5 to go. A look at the Shell Championship shows that it makes sense to let Jimmy win. He non-finished the first round, whereas Brookes was 2nd to Malcolm Wilson. By juggling with the points, Melvin Hodgson can come out of the circuit with Russell in the lead, Fisher in 2nd place, and Jimmy McRae tying for 3rd with Wilson. Fisher is the one Opel that's still really trying. For Pond and Austin Rover, however, it's a situation of stroking it home. To preserve that coveted Group A prize, Eklund, however, has still designs on it. Next car through, Llewellin, would probably put this circuit down to experience. He has never driven a full-blooded Group B car on tarmac over such a distance before. Beguin never gives up.
Pace notes were prophesied as being the great equaliser in Irish international rallying. No longer would the local driver have the edge. Yet once again, Irish experience seemed an enormous advantage. Jimmy is heading towards his 4th victory. Russell already has 3 wins on the circuit, making the team orders a bitter pill to swallow, with 2nd as some consolation. Billy Coleman, another triple winner, 5th this year. Bertie Fisher is proud to be part of the GM hat-trick. He and Austin Fraser are also happy to be runners-up in the British Championship and 3rd on the circuit. Austin Rover's biggest success with the Vitesse to date was on the Manx International last year. Tony Bond was 3rd. Now they can add a splendid 6th overall and some very high-class circuit company. Toyota Ireland must be very pleased with their association with the Supra, prepared by their English colleagues, for Per Eklund in 6th. Beguin has led the Porsche attack for most of the rally. And to beat Billy Coleman on his home ground is no mean achievement. He's 4th.
And how he coped with literally thousands of people looking over his shoulder.
Well, I must say, Alan, that when the idea was first put to me, I was a bit apprehensive about it. And as you say, it's a very personal thing. Every move I make is on camera, whether it's a mistake or whatever. And I was a bit apprehensive. But once the rally begun, you know, the concentration demand is so intense that I must say I forgot all about it. And happily, it hasn't been a problem for me. We have an intercom system from helmet to helmet, and there's a speaker in his helmet, and I have earphones, so that's how we take it up. We've a code for each approximate speed of each bend, and we have up to about 10 or 11 different codes. And a K, for instance, you say, is about a bend of what, 50 miles an hour.
Right and K left. Turn mid left, fast right 400. Turn mid left, fast right 400.
K maybe?
K maybe is if you're in good humour, you take it that bit harder.
Well, now, the one thing that we don't get is the actual speed you're doing at the time. What sort of speed are you doing in the Porsche in each gear?
The gears first takes you to about 40, second about 60, 65, third up to about 90, fourth takes you to about 110, and fifth up to, that car is geared for a maximum of about 133 miles an hour.
And do you reach that at all during the rally?
Absolutely, yes. Not every stage, but certainly probably up to half the stages we would be getting well into 120s anyway, and quite a few up to 130 more.
So when we're sitting in the back of the car and we're looking at it going, where actually is the location of 5th gear?
The location is, I was watching a piece of the film last night myself, and when he says slight or flat, the hand goes over this position, that's when
we're into 5th.
Potential big trouble then.
30 long quick right. And crest flat 1/2. Fast left over crest 700. Left over crest 200, turn bad left.
I think the other thing that's been outstanding is the amount of work you have to do in there. Your arms are flaying about, and presumably the steering's pretty heavy.
Yeah, quite honestly, I wouldn't have realised myself that I was, you know, up to so many tricks in the car, but, you know, it was quite interesting even for myself to look at it. And I was wondering why I was so tired the last couple of nights, but when I saw the film, it's not surprising, really. I think I have to get more fit than I am. You know, I'm finding it's been quite a strain, the whole thing.
If Russell Brookes was also feeling the strain, he managed to hide the fact behind 2 substantial ice cream cones. But he was obviously more than a little upset at coming second.
How are you feeling?
Well, obviously disappointed in not winning, you know, but I think within a team you have to face this situation sometimes. You do get team orders which go against you, and they went against me this time, so next time maybe it'll be different.
But you had a good old battle, and you had a good drive earlier on too.
Yes, I mean, I think basically we held the lead at the end of every leg of the rally, and it's only over this last bit where we've had to knock it on the head and really go slow.
Well, Russell, you deserve the ice cream, and thanks for giving us so much pleasure around Ireland.
Thank you, we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Great.
As he walked back towards his car, Brookes passed a message of congratulations from the Opel backroom team. And then, in a gesture perhaps designed to dispel rumours of a rift between himself and the man who issued the team orders, he presented one of the ice creams to team manager Melvin Hodgson. But while the second-place driver made do with ice cream, the champagne was on ice for the winners. Unfortunately, a particularly stubborn cork refused to pop, just as clerk of the course Donald Grieve thought his problems were over for another year. But by the time Jimmy McRae and Ian Grindrod arrived at the City Hall, all was well, and there was no doubting the Scotsman's delight at circuit win number 4.